Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started with our final and first session in just 1 to 2 minutes, but thank you for being here on time and just hang in there. We'll be with you shortly.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everyone. We're really excited to have you here tonight. I'd like to start by first introducing myself. I'm Nicole Chan. I am the faculty lead of the Interaction Design Bachelor's Degree Program at Santa Monica College. Also here tonight presenting with me is Jeff Gordon, who is our program manager, who you heard talking so far. I don't know if you want to say hi real quick, Jeff.
Everybody, welcome.
So thanks for coming tonight. I'm really excited to hear any questions that you may have. As for questions during this presentation, go ahead and please put them in the chat for us. So a little program history to start us off. So SMC is one of 15 baccalaureate degrees offered at community college level in all of California. And this interaction design program is like no other program at any community college in California or even in the country. The only other institutions that offer a bachelor's degree in interaction design are private colleges. So Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and CCA, which is the California College of the Arts in San Francisco. So here's our first cohort of our program. And in January of 2015, SMC was chosen as one of 15 community colleges to pilot a baccalaureate degree. In May of 2015, we received our final approval from the California Community College Board of Governors. And since that approval and program launch with our first cohort shown here in 2016, we have started our sixth cohort of students this past fall. And we received the news last October that our program is now a permanent program at Santa Monica College. So we are going to continue to build. And we have alumni from our program that are continuing to do just amazing work and really exciting work. So just to share with you a few examples of the positions that some of the folks have. Rhea is a product designer at Facebook. Amanda is a UX researcher at Plaid. Orhan started his own, co-founded his own studio, UX studio, where they do UX, UI, development, and media. It's called Playground Vision. We also have Sarah, who is a designer at Media Monks. Sade is a UX designer at a company called Activision. It's the home of Call of Duty. And then Will just recently started a position at JP Morgan and Chase as a UX researcher. So just a little sampling of what folks are up to.
We also have a beautiful building that houses our program at Santa Monica College. I'm here tonight, and we're excited to be able to return to campus when it's safe to do so. All right, today's focus is on two different paths. Students who may be at 60 or more transferable credits by the end of spring 2022, you'll be able to apply now. Our application is open and the deadline is actually in 7 days on March 1st, 2022. For first year students, we're gonna talk to you about the pathway you would take if you're interested in applying to a bachelor's degree program. The tough questions are gonna be on course equivalencies or if you have courses from another college or work experience. I won't be answering specific questions during this presentation, but I will be talking mostly about the program and submissions process. If you have less than 60 transferable credits or going to be started college, there's a pathway for you, and we connect you with the counselor who can answer your specific details. You can start as a freshman in our graphic design program or somewhere else, or transfer to SMC at any stage of the IxD program. let's jump into what we're going to get covering today.
All right, so what is interaction design? Well, Dieter Rams, industrial designer, and good design is innovative, which is really true. So an interaction design is nothing but, if not innovative. But what is it really? So interaction design is designing for behavior, and interaction designers design the experiences we have every day, whether it's on websites, apps, smart objects, or end-to-end experiences that we have with brands. So it's really about creating the best experience for people, meeting their researched, identified needs, and that requires interaction designers to uncover complex problems, develop an understanding of who we are designing for, and designing the best behavior for their experience. So interaction design is the study of many things, as you can see here in this infographic. It can be UX design or user experience design, visual design, motion design, product or industrial design, psychology, and computer science. So I really like this image because it shows you how many different kind of facets interact with interaction design as a whole. So good design makes a product useful. Well, Fitbit is a great example of making a product useful. So this is a wearable. It's unobtrusive, and since it's worn day and night, it becomes kind of part of our skin. The interaction with this actual device is very minimal. It's there, but you don't know it. It reminds you in subtle ways. So teams of designers, including interaction designers, have created this wearable to provide an experience. So it's useful and meaningful, and it's highly intuitive. Fitbit makes it easy and fun to track your steps, and it makes 10,000 steps a day a game that you want to share with your friends. So good design is also thorough down to the last detail. And Uber's a really great example of a company that has the details down. So everything about this experience is easy. It revolutionized the way we call a cab and the entire transport experience itself. So no more paying the cab driver directly and tipping. A simple sign-on takes care of the details. The experience from beginning to end is seamless, from the point of contact to the simplicity of receiving the final digital receipt. Uber pared down the experience to the most simplest of details. Even now, they design their experience around the pandemic and making sure that people that are using their service wear a mask. Good design makes a product understandable. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with a company called MailChimp. So this is a service that needed to be redesigned and more understandable. For years, sending out email campaigns was a challenging task for any business, large or small. And rather than wrestling with the management of email lists and trying to code HTML templates and sending out mass emails, MailChimp made it easy for anyone to manage and create email newsletters and campaigns. And with their own highly developed personal brand, MailChimp came along and completely reinvented the experience. They made it fun and an experience filled with their own lighthearted sense of humor. So in terms of careers, in addition to an interaction designer, a bachelor's degree can lead to other careers like UX designers, information architects, mobile designers, web designers, researchers, product designers, or even user interface designers. And these are all really well-paid careers.
All right, so the Interaction Design Bachelor of Science, otherwise known as IxD. Let's talk briefly about the first 2 years of your full-time at SMC. The Graphic Design Associate of Science with UX concentration is comprised of 28 units with a UX concentration and 20 units of general education. Now, there's often a common question that comes up is, do you have to have an associate degree to apply? And the answer is no, we recommend it, but you do have to have relevant experience to build a portfolio when you are applying, and we'll get into that more in a little bit.
So here are the core courses that comprise the Graphic Design AS and the UX concentration. So the core graphic design classes focus on the foundations of design, like typography, research, UX, web design, and motion. There's also a class that'll help you prepare your portfolio for the IxD program. We're going to actually have that class. It's a portfolio class this summer if you're interested. So if your path is to apply for jobs after earning your AS, and we have you covered for that as well in the AS program. And then the UX concentration focuses on advanced UX, web, and mobile design. So the Interaction Design Bachelor of Science is comprised of 35 units of core courses and 25 units of other required courses. So about 60 units. And here's the description or the titles of all the IxD Core courses that we have. All the descriptions of these courses are on the IxD website. So if you look in the bottom right corner, if you go to ixd.smc.edu, you'll be able to read the full descriptions of these courses. And these courses are all offered in a sequence. So you'll enter as a cohort of students. We take about 24 to 25 students, and you're going to be taking the classes with them in sequence each semester. So we have studios 1, 2, and 3. We have a project management class. We have a class called Tangible Interaction where you will code and have that code speak to a microcomputer and have physical interactions with it. We have a storytelling class, a portfolio class to help you apply for jobs after you leave the program, a product design class, and this is physical, tangible product design. We have a class called Design for Community Change, where you get out into the community and solve problems with, real world problems with folks and design with them and for them. And then there's a class called Design for the Future, where we encourage you to be really speculative with all the technology and really think future based on where things might be going with the field. So this is a really beautiful reel from our senior class from last year. So they're our alumni, recent alumni. And this video is really beautiful because it captures the breadth and depth of all the projects made by the class of 2021. Well, not all the projects, but a nice chunk of the projects. And this is from their time in the IxD program. So let's go ahead and watch that. So just a little taste of some of the work. Sorry, I went a little too far there. One thing I really want to emphasize is that the IxD program is a firm believer in incorporating what we call real world challenges and sponsored projects from companies into our core classes. So this would be this Interaction Design Studios 1, 2, and 3, Senior Studio, and Design for Community Change. This will give you an opportunity to interact and receive critique and feedback from working designers, as well as build a strong portfolio of work based on real challenges from these companies. So these are just some of the companies that we have worked with so far with sponsored projects. So Activision, which is the home of Call of Duty, Red Bull, Hulu, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, Bird, and American Heart Association, and we've done more since then. So we're always bringing those fun challenges into classes.
Awesome, and I encourage everybody to check out the program homepage for more information on our sequence of classes under the View Curriculum button. And also, you'll be able to view our site, especially the frequently asked questions section, for any additional questions you might have. And of course, you can always reach out to me, and I will put my email on the chat at the end of the session. Hey, it's time for the really, really good stuff. And I know this is the final information session for this application cycle. And I see lots and lots of questions coming in. So I thank you for your patience, and they will be answered at the end of the presentation, but keep those questions coming. We'll make sure to answer them. Okay, so we're gonna, first of all, we're gonna talk about the admission cycle. If you can just go back one slide, Nicole, I appreciate that. The admission cycle, we opened applications back on December 1st, 2021. The deadline for admission is 7 days away. That's by the end of day, March 1, 2022. And in case you're wondering what the end of day is, that is no later than 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So please make sure to have it in before then. Much appreciated. Now we're going to talk about the minimum qualifications. The minimum qualifications is the completion of at least 60 semester units of Cal State University transferable courses by the end of spring 2022. Please make sure that you have completed English 1, English 2, and 1 math class from the CSU General Education pattern. And I know we have students here from other community colleges or maybe have previous bachelor degrees. It can be an English 1 or English 2 equivalent from other community colleges. And I will be putting how to make an appointment with a counselor if you want to verify that at the end, but we do equivalencies, not a problem. And then of course, minimum 2.0 overall GPA or better at the time of application. And we encourage a broad range of educational backgrounds to apply for the program. Here are some of the students that we might be looking for. Okay, so students, again, who are in junior standing with at least 60 units completed by the end of spring 2022. If you have a previous bachelor's degree, we welcome you to apply. Students who are freshmen or who are indicated that they may be applying in fall 2023, we do encourage you to enroll in the lower division graphic design courses. We definitely consider current students who are in the Santa Monica College existing graphic design associate degree program or an equivalent program. They can submit materials if they are in junior standing. And individuals who are graduates of graphic design program and or who possess work experience in design or are eligible to apply for the IxD program. And just again, because this is a common question that's asked, if you don't have a graphic design associate degree, yes, you can still apply, but you do have to have work experience or portfolio experience that would be able to be reviewed. Okay, so if you're a new SMC student, the first thing you want to do is apply to SMC now and select interaction design is your goal, and then go to complete the IxD Supplemental Materials, which is on slide room. How would you apply to SMC? Well, we definitely, if you're coming from another community college or university or from the workplace, we do encourage you to apply as soon as possible. We've had some students indicate that it takes a couple days to get their student ID number activated. So if you're not yet SMC students, the first step is to apply formally to SMC and be sure to apply right away and declare your goal as IxD. There's various students on here, incoming transfer students, international students, all sorts of different students, in the best way to apply. There's instructions on there for you. If you're a current Santa Monica College student, make sure to log into Coursera Connect, which is that enrollment system, and update your goal as IxD. And then, of course, complete the supplemental materials form and materials to slide room, which is the application program that we
have. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what we mean by IxD supplemental materials. So there's several parts to the materials you need to submit to the program. So there's a supplemental form, unofficial transcripts from all institutions you've attended, 2 personal essays, and the essay questions that we ask, again, are in slide room. So when you go ahead and log in, You'll be able to read what the essay questions are and start working on those. A portfolio of work, and I'll dive into specifically what that might entail. And you also have up to 3 to 5 projects to upload for your portfolio requirement. If you include an external link to YouTube or Vimeo, for example, that is going to count as an upload. One thing I want to note is to please compress your work so that the projects, the PDFs that you submit are not super, super large. And Jeff is going to go ahead and, 10 megabytes each for each PDF that you submit as a project. And yes, we do prefer PDF format as for your portfolio work. We don't right now accept portfolio sites, and the reason is because in the past when folks have submitted sites, either the link didn't work, the images weren't included, there was a lot of problems. So we do still want that, kind of finalized PDF version, 10 megabytes each for your projects. Another part, which I'll talk about more in a minute, is we do want to see your design process, and I'll talk about what I mean by design process. So mock-ups, design comps, and prototypes, along with the final, outcome of what you want to share with us. And really, really important, folks, a project description. Please give us some context about what we're looking at. So don't just show us, for example, a beautiful, user interface for a mobile app. Tell us what the mobile app is for. Let us understand what we're looking at. So please, 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 writing's really important for designers. And these are the types of projects that we're looking for specifically. So we really want to see some websites. Mobile apps are a great thing to turn in. Products, so that could be, physical product design. Obviously there's digital products too, so that could work for both. Motion graphics is wonderful. You can go ahead and share those with us. And of course, any print work. So any graphic design work like posters, booklets, logo design. We love to see any beautiful typography. So please, those are all things that are great to turn in for project work. The types of skills that we're assessing, we're looking for concept and strategy. So how did you get there and, to your final outcome, which would work well in your product description too. Your research and design process. So this works great for any UX projects you might show. We want to see, a peek into your research and your key insights. Design and typography, like I mentioned, this works well for any print work you might do. And motion and storytelling. And then finally, any interactive and coding work too is also the types of skills that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and talk about what we mean by design process for portfolio. This usually includes sketches, research, diagram, user flows, sitemaps, personas, wireframes, mockups, and design comps. So really the entire process is really great for us to see in addition to the final outcome or deliverable. And a prototype. This is really, really beautiful to include. So if you have a working, functioning prototype, go ahead and include that link. This could be a mockup or design comp. It could be a link to a website prototyping that you built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc. Any type of like a Figma or Adobe XD prototype is also really cool. Just make sure that the links work. So if you're concerned about that, you could always do a video presentation of the prototype, upload it to YouTube or Vimeo. Any other means of showing your final outcome for your project is also highly encouraged. And again, like I mentioned earlier, please write a brief written description of the projects, and this should accompany each project that you turn in. So giving us context is really important. And just to, kind of further explain that, written explanations are an essential element of a project. So while your design is important, we are also interested in seeing the way you describe your project and express your ideas. And we understand that many design projects are team-based, so that's totally cool. just include a statement about what you specifically did in the project. So that's great. We do a ton of teamwork in the IxD program, so it's great if you've worked on a team. Just tell us what you specifically designed or what your role was. And projects can be class assignments, they can be professional, or they can even be self-initiated. So for example, here's student work that was created for a website redesign. So this is a project example for a website. So you'll see on the far left, it includes a pretty simplified persona. In the middle, it shows workflows and then wireframes for a website design. So we really want to see is the design process. So this shows us how you think about your final project or final outcome. And the prototype in this case study was an actual functioning site that they sent and had us look at. So providing a link to the prototype is highly encouraged. Another example, a student project. This time it's a mobile app. This student is showing their design process and goals for the project, which included low and more mid-fidelity sketches. And the admissions committee wants to see your thought process and how you come to your final design. And we'll go ahead and share more, examples of projects and some that you can kind of look at and compare your work to.
Okay, our IxD website has helpful resources that will support you working on your application and portfolio submission. In the chat, I'm about to share some links that will help you. The first link is a video you can watch at your own pace that will review what interaction design is, career opportunities, and examples of student portfolio admission examples to review. And the third resource is an outline of how you could structure your projects and portfolio submission. I'm putting that in the chat now, but keep in mind, everything we talk about, I am going to send in a follow-up email, including a YouTube link for this session. So in case you miss it, don't stress. There will be an email for you after this session. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some suggestions. Start working on your materials now. As we've mentioned, there's about 7 days left before the application deadline. Please make sure to refine your projects, submit your best work, revise and rewrite essays. You are applying to get into a bachelor degree program, so this is your personal statement that you're going to have to, or your personal essays you have to write. So you can have, family, peers, other faculty take a look at this essay. So we definitely do encourage that. And then of course, plan your time wisely. I do say this a lot, probably more than you want to hear, but I really do encourage you not to wait until the very last minute. I know we are all natural procrastinators, but the deadline is March 1st, no later than 11:59 p.m. And unfortunately, no exceptions are made to that. So I really want to make sure the students get that work in. It will be good to go. And now we're going to move on to questions. And I know there's a lot of questions in the chat, and there's some questions that were submitted beforehand. And give me 1 second, because I realized I did not put, I think I just sent it to one student. Let me make sure I paste this to everybody here. There's the information that's coming up there. So let me go down and here we go. The first question is about acceptance rate for the program and how many people generally apply. That really varies year to year. It depends on how many students that we have to apply to the program. For context, last year was a record year in terms of applicants. It was 90. The year before was 79 applying. The year before was 84. In each of those years, the number of students that we accepted did not change. We accepted between 24 and 26 for each year. So if you average about 80 students applying, anywhere between 24 and 26 of those 80 students applying did get into the program. So if that gives you some helpful insight in terms of how many students we accept, that is all there for you. This student is saying they're not able to access the school's transcript, but SMC has all the new transcripts already. Is it okay to leave the transcript section blank in the IxD application section? Since this is a more of a personal question to your academic history, what I would advise you to do, if SMC has the transcript on file, connect with a counselor and have them email you a copy of that transcript if it's from another university, and then upload it that way. I just want to make sure that we get everything in there, because sometimes if you've worked with Santa Monica College before, financial aid may have a copy of your transcript, submissions may have a copy of it. So check with a counselor and they can look up and see if it's on file, and they'll be able to assist you. I'll also put in how to make an appointment with a counselor in the chat once I get through, once I get through all these first set of questions. I mentioned that we're going to be returning to campus when it's safe to do so. Have classes not yet returned to in-person for IxD. We are currently remote, at least through the spring semester. All students who are accepted into the program to start in fall 22 should anticipate returning to campus at some point. So if you're gonna accept admission to the program, it's with the understanding that you will be coming to campus at some point. Our current students, they're gonna be beginning to come back to campus to do some workshopping and storyboarding in one of our new design rooms. So please make sure that if you are accepted in the program, that you are local enough that when the time comes that we've decided to come back on campus when it's safe to do so, that you are able to do so. Is interaction design different from UX design? Well, there's oftentimes you're going to hear a lot of things: UX design, UI design, IxD, interaction design. They're all very similar, but the titles are different. So I understand how that can be confusing. Okay, so when will the announcements be made whether applicants are accepted or rejected? What will happen is, as you know, the deadline is March 1st at the end of the day. Once that happens, we start to check the academic eligibility of the students first. If a student is not academically eligible, we will notify them, and then the remaining students go on to additional rounds of the process. Our hope is we will let students know by the second week of April, which is by the start of Santa Monica College spring break. So hopefully to give you some resolution whether or not you're accepted into the program. So by the start of spring break is when we anticipate that we'll have that final admissions decision out to you, okay? So this question is a duplicate question. It's about how many applicants do you receive and how many do you accept? Okay. And now, Nicole, this question is about the portfolio requirements. The student is wondering, how heavily does the portfolio requirement weigh in the admissions decision?
Pretty heavily. I mean, it's really important to see what type of designer you are. So the portfolio is really important for us to see what kind of design you do and what you care about, what projects you've worked on, and read about the projects with the descriptions. So it's really important to have a portfolio together and submit that.
Thank you. And then the student had a follow-up question, and it's more about how often do we accept admits in the program. We currently do a cohort-based, meaning all 24 to 26 students are accepted at once. They start together, they graduate together, but we only do one admission per year, so we don't have any spring admits at this time. So that is a question there. So this student is at another community college, and they're looking to they're in the process of applying to SMC, and they're completed their general educations. Is it possible for me to transfer to the program despite not completing my general ed at SMC? The answer is yes, you can still apply to the program if you've gone to any other colleges or universities or have any work-based experience. If you do have questions about your academic eligibility before we're done, and in the follow-up email, I'm going to put information on how you can make an appointment with one of our two fantastic Center for Media Design counselors, which is the building that we're housed in. And you can always just go over everything with them before submitting the application. But yes, if you've gone to another school, if you've worked for 10 years, if you have another bachelor's degree, please apply. We want to open this to everybody. And Nicole, I think this question came up at the last info session. I just don't remember how we answered it. I guess the Santa Monica College website lists Graphic Design 81, but it's not on the slideshow. How does that affect applying? I don't think it affects applying.
No, yeah, that's an error on the website. Graphic Design 81 is not a class that we offer for spring semester. So yeah, don't disregard that.
So then the next question is, are summer winter sessions available for the IxD program? No, the program, the cohort itself runs in fall and spring. Sometimes some students will take winter and summer courses, like maybe you just want to take some electives or upper division GEs if they're available. You can, but it's not required. You can take those winter and summers off if you want to.
Yep.
So not a problem. The next question is about tuition for international students. I will put a link in the chat about what it is for international students, what the cost of tuition is. And if not, please email me and I can follow up with you to give you the correct information. This next student, I'm going to paraphrase for privacy reasons. It's a question about the grade they received on a stats course at an extension college. Would that be acceptable? What I would recommend doing is following up with an academic counselor. Generally speaking, SMC only accepts C's or better as a passing course. So if you took statistics or English 1 or English 2 somewhere else and it was a C- or a D+ or D's, even though you're getting unit credit, it doesn't count as progression and it wouldn't be accepted. But please, feel free to reach out to a counselor, for any further information on that. We do not currently offer any seniors or graduate students that can give feedback on portfolio. I'm sorry, we don't offer that at this time. There was a design club on campus, and if the design club is still meeting, you may want to try to meet out with some of those students or look on their Discord. They may be able to give you feedback, but again, as a disclaimer, it's only their feedback. It's not the feedback of the admissions committee, and the admissions committee is the one that makes the decision. Okay, hang in there, Nicole. We're almost halfway through the questions.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so student is asking if they're eligible to apply if they have a certificate of achievement in graphic design and 1 year experience. Can they take English and math class over spring and summer and still apply now? What I would again recommend is meet with an academic counselor. I will put that information in the chat. If you haven't done English 1 or 2 or an equivalent or math yet, or even have 60 transferable units either from SMC or another college or university, it may not look like you're eligible to apply this year, but maybe there's something you're not putting in the direct message that I'm not seeing. And I'll put at the bottom, I'll put the information in the chat, how to make an appointment with a counselor, okay? This question is about teamwork projects on the portfolio. They want to know, should you just put specifically what they worked on or what all team members worked on in their progress in the portfolio?
I would just put what you worked on. Like, so for example, if it's a, UX or design research project and you were in charge of designing the prototype, or you were in charge of putting together the presentation, or you were in charge of interviews, I would list exactly what you did in the project. I don't think I would be as worried about what the other folks did. I would just list what you did. So when we're going through and looking at the project, we can really kind of zone in and focus on the things that you're showing us that you did. If that helps, that should answer your question.
Well, thank you. this is a similar question about wanting to know when you get notified. And again, that would be, we're hopeful around spring break, but of course it depends on the number of applicants we receive and how far we have to go through the process.
Yeah, so probably mid-April, just in case people don't know it's spring
mid to
break.
late April. Yeah, we're going to do our best to get it by spring break. This question has to do with the SMC Graphic Design Associates. Are students who complete the SMC program, are they favored more in applying? And my position on that is that any student can apply. You just have to make sure you build your portfolio or show that you have the experience to apply in it. Certainly, it's great to be in our graphic design program or another community college. It doesn't have to be SMC. It can be any community college. We've had students that come in from Pasadena and Rio Hondo and community colleges up north and four-year universities. But you have to show that you have the experience and you can build a portfolio that shows that you know at least some of the fundamentals of what interaction design is. So no, anybody can apply in the program, but it's really about what you build in that portfolio. And I don't know if there's anything I'm missing in that, Nicole.
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Can you talk about the tuition? I will put the cost of tuition in the chat. When we talk about the cost of tuition being $10,000, that's also including the first 2 years if you're like a freshman and sophomore. So it's actually a little bit less expensive than you think because really it's going to be under $10,000 for students that start here. But I will put that information in the chat and follow that up with an email. Okay. Can you still apply if you're a few units short of 60 credits at the time of admission spring? I would recommend talking with a counselor. Ideally, the candidates that are going to be considered the most are the ones that have all academically eligible classes done. So if they have 60 units that are going to be completed or work in progress by the end of spring, that is what the committee will look at. But if you have any further questions, we can follow up. Can you apply without having 60 units and even have a slim chance? Very similar question back to back. But again, part of the reason of having 60 units is that's your freshman and sophomore years, your first 2 years of college completed. So students who are going to be starting in fall of 2022, you're going to be a junior, right? So we have to make sure that you have those classes done and taken care of. If you don't, then we recommend that you get some of that fundamental work done before applying in the future. You're always welcome to talk to a counselor about academic eligibility, but if you don't have any units at all, again, it would be get some work done and prepare, especially some of those core courses. And I am aware that link above in the chat, number 3, may not be a broken link. We will resend that to you in the email afterwards. Trying to see if I understand this question. Give me 1 second. If junior standing once accepted, would you be in the program for the next 2 years? Oh, or does the program run even longer? No, this is just a 2-year junior and senior year program. So when you start, you're a junior, and when you finish after 2 years, you're a graduate. Providing you meet all the academic requirements. Moving through here. Thanks for your patience. This is a portfolio question, has to do with group projects. What if the roles were not clearly defined in group projects?
Then I would write down specifically what you did. So even if you worked in collaboration with somebody on something, I would still say that, but then say what you did. So, in collaboration, I worked on wireframes with a group member. We can look at the wireframes and see what you did, but just listing what you did specifically. If the roles weren't clearly defined, just let us know what to keep an eye out in what you're showing us that you worked on.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Nicole. And I'm getting through as many messages as we can, so just bear with me. I'm going to paraphrase the student because, again, of academic privacy. They reached the limit of Mobile 1 and Web 3, and so they wanted to know if they got an extension to take it on repeat, how would they let IxD admissions know? Well, again, since an associate degree or certificate is not required to apply for the program, we're going to be looking more at your 60 units, your English 1, your English 2, your math, your CSU general education or equivalent, and then of course your portfolio. So if you took it more than once, that's fine. We don't need to know the details of that. It's just, again, what you build in your portfolio, and then also all the other academic information. Important question: what kind of financial aid options are available? That every student, when they come to Santa Monica College, or any college or university for that matter, should go on to FAFSA, which is the free application for student aid, and they can apply every year based off your age, your income, or your parents' income. Then financial aid is able to determine what might be available to you. So whether that is grants or waivers or low interest loans, they all can be available. It's just really based off your individual information. So like if you're 24, if you're under 24, you go based off your parents' income. If you're over 24, you're considered independent. Okay, so again, when you're filling out that free application for student aid every year, fafsa.ed.gov, financial aid will look through it, maybe ask for some more information. You might have to upload your parents' tax documents or your own tax documents. But again, generally speaking, we offer grants, waivers, and low interest loans for students who do the program. Mostly speaking, we always try to avoid loans as like a last resort, but if you have to do that, we make them available to you. We want to see if we can cover the costs in every way, but that's up to each individual student's information. Okay, so let me just move on here. Okay, so I guess this is just a miscommunication. It's asking, what if you took your 60 units, but not all of them were CSU, and you took all those units from SMC? So when you're looking on your SMC transcript, you're going to see some courses that say CSU, and that's Cal State University. You may see some that say UC, which is University of California. You may also see some that just say SMC or AA degree only. So it has to be at least CSU, USC, UC transferable units, CSU, UC transferable units to be at 60. If you're coming from a different college or university, when we look over your application, we'll be able to determine that. What was CSU, what is UC, and how does that count towards your 60? But yes, we can take them from other schools, and but it has to either say CSU or UC. UC is okay as well. 60 UC units are fine as well. So if you're doing a CSU GE or if you're doing IGETC, that is all good. Okay. Are your courses in the morning, afternoon, or at night? Okay, so if for the most part, our courses start somewhere around 2 p.m. or after, if that's correct, Nicole, and they run into the into the evening.
Yeah.
So I would, we're mostly a mid-afternoon to evening program. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, what we also do that's been pretty successful with helping students plan like work and life is juniors, which would be what you all would be if you were admitted for fall 2023. So juniors typically have IxD classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and like Jeff mentioned, those are usually 2 to 5 p.m. or 6:30 to 9:30 at night for juniors. And then seniors, we usually run their classes on Monday and Wednesdays. These are just the IxD classes. These aren't the additional upper division classes. So What's been working and helpful is that if you know in advance, you can plan a work or life around those 2 days being kind of your main days of classes. So hopefully that helps answer your question. So there is a rhythm to what year you're in, and we do let you know in advance of what that is for planning.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah.
I'm putting a couple of links in the chat if you want to meet with a counselor. Diana Pennington is the assistant for a counselor. You just need to let them know that you want to meet with a counselor for IxD. I suggest if you want to do that soon, email Diana as soon as possible, because the deadline is March 1st. So that really, with the shortened week for the holiday, that leaves Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, and maybe part of Tuesday. So, and the counselors serve the whole Center for Media Design, which is multiple programs here. So I really do recommend, if you do have any academically eligible questions, feel free to email that. Again, I'll put this in an email afterwards to you in case you miss it. My email is ixd.smc.edu. My name is Jeff. I'm the project manager. Anytime you might have any last minute questions, feel free to ask me. Nicole and the other core faculty are on the admissions committee, and they make some of these tough decisions. So they can't answer, like, what do you think of my portfolio? Like, they're not going to answer that. And also in terms of, if you're not admitted, they won't be able to answer those questions for you as well. So you can always speak to me. But I'll be able to help you as much as possible. We have a few more questions to get through. One of them is it possible to take these courses completely online? Because of the pandemic, we were remote, but there is an anticipation that we'll be coming back to in-person sometime in fall 2022. So if you're accepted into the program, we really do want you to, we really do want you to have that intention to come in person. If you do accept and then you're not able to come in person, then your position might be forfeited for somebody else. So it's really important that you're able to come, to come in person, because that is our intent to return, to campus. Because we have a really beautiful campus, as we mentioned. We have some new features that we're adding here, which we're really excited about. One more question for you, Nicole, or a couple more, is that do you need to have previous internship or professional experience to be considered a strong candidate for the application?
Nope.
All right.
Definitely
so
not.
Again, that's plain and simple. No, you just, build that portfolio, whether that's through work or through classes you've taken here or somewhere else. So it's really important. You don't need to have industry or professional experience. And then someone asked, do you have to know how to draw, be pretty talented in art or drawing to be successful in IxD?
Definitely not, which is great because I also am not good at that.
Stick figures are pretty bad, so I get it.
Yes.
And then let me just see. Okay, this is a question that we can always follow up. It says, how will the changes in the graphic design program curriculum that are implemented in spring 2022 through fall 2022 affect students who are going to apply for admission into the IxD program for fall 2023? Well, just in my experience, if you started in a program, you always have catalog rights, meaning that when you start in the program and you have those requirements, you're allowed to finish with those requirements. It's only students who are starting new from that point on would be affected by the changes. So if you started last year or 2 years ago or this semester, you have those catalog rights. So just something to keep in mind. If the curriculum, like, it will be changing in fall 2022, it doesn't affect you unless you're starting a brand new student in fall 2022. Let me just scroll through here and see if there's anybody we're missing. So we've already talked about, if you have a bachelor's degree, and even if it's unrelated, but you want to get into UX design, if you have some form of portfolio that you can build, yes, yes, absolutely, you can apply. So so let me just clarify this because the student seems to be a little confused. You're submitting your projects, or when you're submitting your portfolio, you're putting that together at the same time you submit your application. All that's due by March, no later than March 1st, 11:59 p.m. So when you go in, after tonight, when I send you that follow-up email, or even in that reminder email about tonight, there's a place to go and start your application in SlideRoom. Open it up, see if you have any questions. If you have questions, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to guide you through that as much as I can. I can't give you portfolio advice, but if there's questions about something that might not be working, I'm happy to do that. But you have to make sure you fill out your application, some basic information gathering. There's that essay in there, that portfolio that we talked about. And of course, you have to make sure it's all submitted before the deadline. Okay. Anything that we talked about, and again, somebody mentioned that their power went out. We're going to try to notify you by spring break. It's done by email. It's not through post office mail. We send an email to inform you of your progress, and it would either come through SlideRoom or ixd.smc.edu. And once again, everything we talked about tonight should be on YouTube sometime tomorrow. I will send it out an email when that's on there. You can always reach out to me anytime. And then once again, we thank you guys for coming to the last info session of this admission cycle. Give yourself a big round of applause if you're applying this year. We really wish you the best of luck, and don't wait until 11:59 p.m. Please, and Nicole knows this drives me crazy, but don't wait until the very last minute, because we're not going to be working at that time. So if there's any questions, get it done early. That's what we want to do. All right, everyone, have a wonderful night, and take care, and good luck on your applications, whether it's this year or next. Have a good day.
Good night. Good luck.